Welcome to a very special episode of DBL. Today, we are highlighting incredible stories of medical miracles and people who survived against all odds. Many of our guests have been through the impossible and lived to tell about it. And before we meet our first guest, I wanted to ask, is there anyone here in the panel who a medical breakthrough changed your life?
My mother was diagnosed with Gaucher's disease when she was pregnant with me. It's a genetic disease. She was one of the 12 guinea pigs at NIH in Baltimore, and they discovered an enzyme that she was missing, and within her lifetime, she went from not walking to fully walking as a museum docent in my lifetime.
Wow.
So that's why I go so hard for science. They changed my mother's complete life.
And your life as
and
a
my
child,
life. And
right?
she was still friends with those 12 forever.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. First 12. Brave thing to
us.
do, too.
Thank you for sharing that.
Oh, yeah.
Very brave.
Yeah.
Okay, and our next guest is a true medical miracle. After years of being bound to a wheelchair, she recently walked across the stage to get her doctorate. Before we chat with Pearl McKnight, here is some of her story.
I was actually working on my thesis for my master's degree, and I had been doing some late nights, 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning. So I was getting very tired, and then I started having chills. I thought I was coming down with the flu. Then I had 104 temperature when I went into the doctor's office, and they admitted me right away. They could not diagnose what was going on. And then they reached out to Mayo Clinic. They were able to diagnose me with cryptococcal meningitis. They did not tell me that I was going to be paralyzed. They just kept telling me, oh, you're going to be fine. Let's just get through this. I think they just wanted to keep my spirits up so I wouldn't give up, because I don't think I would have handled knowing that I was going to be paralyzed. Like I said, it just started out just a numbing feeling, and then it got to the point to where I couldn't feel my legs at all. And I went from doing everything myself to my husband and daughter having to even help me use the bathroom. And I didn't want to be a burden to anyone. So depression set in, I was suicidal. It was a lot for me to accept. I felt like God was punishing me for something, and I kind of lost faith for a while. In 2017, I had a cyst in my esophagus. It had gotten to the point that I couldn't swallow my 16 different medications that I was on at the time. And I just had an overwhelming feeling that I was going to die.
Wow. And Dr. Pearl McKnight went in for surgery to have the cyst removed, but what happened next shocked the doctors. So to explain, please welcome to DBL, Dr. Pearl McKnight. Yeah. Thank you. Wow.
Hello. All right, first things first. Can you go back? I know it's difficult, but you're heading into surgery. How were you feeling?
I've had surgeries before and never had any problems, not nervous, not, afraid of being put to sleep. But for some reason for this surgery, I just had an overwhelming feeling that I was going to die.
Wow.
A couple of days before the surgery, I wrote letters to all of my family. The day before the surgery, I called the doctor's office to see if I could reschedule the surgery, and they told me that I could not because he was going to be going out of the country. So I was stuck going in having the surgery. When I got in, the anesthesiologist could not find a vein, so he had to, he told me, he said, I'm going to gas you and find a vein. And, right before he put the gas mask on me, I told him, I said, I'm not going to survive this. And he said, oh, this is just same day surgery, simple, you'll be fine. So right before he put the gas mask on me, I told him, I said, give me a second. And I said, God, I'm not ready to go, but if you're ready for me, I'm yours. So I'm in your hands. And he just looked at me strange and put the mask on, and I went to sleep. And McKnight. Then when I woke up in the recovery room, after I woke up in the recovery room, I'd seen, of course, the bright light from the inside the recovery room, and it was like, okay, they always say, don't go towards the light. Don't go towards the light. And then I saw my husband's face, and I was like, why is he here? Did he die too? What happened? Because I didn't think I had survived it.
Wow.
Wow. Well, Dr. McKnight, you did, and we're honored to be speaking with you right now. You talk about waking up from surgery. How did you feel? Did you feel any different?
When I woke up, like I said, at first I thought I was, had died. And when my husband started telling me that the surgery went okay and everything was fine, I looked at him and I said, I can feel my legs. And he said, okay, well, the doctor said everything's fine. The anesthesia has you a little druggy. You're fine. Everything's going to be okay. And I said, no, I can feel my legs. And the doctor came over and he said, is anything wrong? It's, Miss McKnight, you did fine. Everything is okay. And I said, no, I can feel my legs.
Oh my God.
And they both were trying to convince me that it was just the anesthesia. And I raised my leg up off of the bed. And
my
they both
gosh.
almost just hit the floor.
Oh my God.
Everyone is.
She lifted her leg up.
What was it like to be able to walk again after 7 years?
It was amazing. I had 3 grandkids that had never seen me walk. When I was in the hospital, I kept telling them, I think I can walk. And the doctor told me, he said, it's a difference between being able to feel, being able to move, and being able to actually walk. You've had muscles that have atrophied.
Sure.
You're going to have balance issues. So they put me into physical therapy and rehab. I was in inpatient rehab. I was supposed to be there for 6 months, and I was there for 9 days. But they kept telling me that I had to wait on physical therapy to come and get me up to walk. So the next morning, no one ever came, so I walked down to the nurse's station, and I said, I told you guys I could walk. And they couldn't believe that I had walked down. I had no balance issues. I didn't stumble. I had no weakness.
Are you
It was
joking?
just like I had been in a dream and had woke up and was able to walk again.
That's crazy.
Miraculous. Okay, so speaking of walking, you started in school as a disabled student, but you were able to walk across the stage this winter to receive your doctorate. What did that feel like? We only have about 30 seconds.
That was amazing. The procession, I think, was what really choked me up the most. Like I said, it was just, I had got my master's in my wheelchair. I had got my EDS in my wheelchair. So never in a million years would I have thought that I would be able to walk across the stage to receive my doctorate.
What a champion. What a
She was right. A version of her did die that day.
Yes.
Yes.
interesting.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are so happy for you, Dr. Pearl, and congratulations on your recent
Thank you so
graduation.
much.
Mazel.